Hey guys, I hope everybody's doing well. I have missed you all terribly. I've been wanting to do this, share some info with you for a little while now, and I've just been waiting for the right time. And I said, right now, I'm actually the chicken's in the oven. I ain't got hardly no time. I said, I have to do it now or never, you know. But I want to share with you a couple of things that God has been doing in my life. First of all, just an update for those of you that know about Mia and my dog Mia, my American Bulldog. She had 10 puppies, 5 girls and 5 boys. So cute. My husband and I and my girls and my son were able to be there for her during the whole process. So it was an unbelievable experience. I cannot even tell you. And those of you that do know me know that I'm not much of a dog person or a dog lover. I have it like I have an obligation to because my family loves this dog, and my husband wanted Mia to have babies, so by default I loved on them. But it was amazing to see how God really truly changed my heart for these dogs, because I absolutely fell in love with them, fell head over heels in love with them, and I still am. So that's just a testimony to God's word, where he says he holds the king's heart in his hand, and he'll turn it as he wishes. He can harden our hearts and soften them as well, and he sure did soften mine. So she had her 10 puppies. We were able to find homes for all of them. My husband and I wanted to keep, we originally said we were going to keep one girl. He wanted to keep a female. Didn't want to keep a male because the male-female thing, they don't know that they're, related. So, but as time grew, there was just one that I fell in love with, a girl. I fell in love with one of the girls, and he fell in love with another girl. And I just said, hon, I don't know how I could tear myself away from this girl. So towards the end, as they're getting 6 weeks, we're just, he's in love with one girl and I'm in love with another girl. And it's just like, okay, we both spoke about it and agreed and came to the conclusion that it's okay, we can keep 2 girls. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was the best news for me, because that's exactly where my heart was. I wanted to keep these girls, and I knew the commitment. I knew what it was going to look like. 3 American Bulldogs in my house. 3 American Bulldogs in my house. I know. I knew what it was. And even after sharing that with a few people, and people going, really, 3? I was still very confident and knew that I made the right decision. So needless to say, as time went on, we were, like I said, we found those homes, and by 7 weeks, the people started coming to pick up their dogs, and everybody picked up their dog really nice, and it was great. About 8 days later, we're talking June 6th. It actually was the last day of school. I get a text message that one of the doggies passed away. My heart was broken. My husband's heart was broken. I was so sad for these people, because they really loved on this dog. It was a case where this young man wanted a dog. He came to see the dog with the parents, and the parents were like, they really didn't want it. They had a little dog, and they weren't too crazy about this big dog idea, but really trusted that their son would be responsible and take care of it. So they decided, okay, you can have what you want. You're going to pay for it. So, but it turns out that daddy just fell in love with the boy. They named him Leo, little Leo. They named him Leo, and he went home with them, and they absolutely fell in love with him. They did the best that they possibly could to take care of him. It was a freak accident that happened, and me and my husband were so heartbroken for them. Now, when I got the text message and I shared it with my husband, I was actually at a graduation ceremony for my goddaughter. My husband wasn't with me. He was at home. But simultaneously, we both texted each other the same exact thing. And it was, I'll give up my dog to them. And he did it the same way. I was like, wow, it just blew my mind how we were just right on the same page. So after discussing it with him, we were still on the same page. We were willing, hey, just take one that we have. Maybe this is the reason why we needed to keep 2, because, they wanted, this was going to happen. So I shared that with the dad that night. He called and he just apologized a million times over because he felt so terrible. It was just a terrible experience to come home and find the dog dead. It wasn't anything like sick internal. It was a freak accident where, I hate to be graphic, but the dog kind of asphyxiated itself. Got caught, his collar got caught, and you could take it from there. So the dad was just, beside himself, and I shared with him. I said, hey, my husband and I both really feel like we want to offer you a dog. We have two. You're more than welcome to come and check it out. Long story short, he was just completely blown away and amazed. Everything was still fresh. So he said, I'm going to talk to my family because everything is really fresh for us. So I'll let you know. That was Thursday, remember. Friday, I don't hear from him all day. Friday morning, I woke up out of a deep sleep. I woke up so awake, like if I was up for hours and hours. And immediately my heart began to feel heavy, and I was crying inside, saying, Lord, please don't take these dogs away. Because I realized the weight of what we committed to. So I was like, man, it was just so heavy. But, I prayed about it that morning, and I was great all day. Remember, I didn't hear from him all day. I was great. Saturday comes, I get a text, probably in the early afternoon. Hey, Gloria, we would like to come and see the dogs. And I completely lost it. I was hysterical, crying like a baby, and everything. You can't even begin to imagine what I felt like. The person that never really liked dogs, I was completely distraught. I was beside myself because it really was coming to life. This commitment that I made. And I couldn't, of course, answer back. I just hysterically cried. I fell into my husband's arms, and he just, he wanted to, of course, as usual, he's my hero. He wanted to be my hero and come to my rescue. And even though I was distraught and I was so hurt at the potential of losing one of them, I shared with my husband, I want to honor what comes out of my mouth. And it's funny because a week before that, I had a conversation with my son about honor and integrity and being honest and stuff like that. So all this is coming back into my mind that Saturday about that. And I'm also studying covenant. And covenant just means a binding agreement, irrevocable binding agreement. So, I spoke those words out of my mouth, and I needed to keep my agreement, and it wasn't easy. And I asked for prayers. I was like, this is the most difficult thing, and I wanted, of course, to make sure that my husband was the one leading out in this, not me, because I don't know about you girls, those of you that are married, but I like to take the reins on by myself sometimes, and that's not God's order of things. So it was so many huge lessons that day, and needless to say, I didn't answer the text right away because I could not. Thankfully, we were distracted with a family member that came in at a time, and we spent the afternoon with them. And after we spent the time with them, my heart was still broken completely all day. We came home, and my husband and I just came into the office, and we, prayed together. And I just told him, I'm okay. I said, this is you. This is all. I am so good with whatever you decide. I'm going to follow your lead. And that was difficult. That was very difficult because, again, woman, wants to control. I'm not sure if that's speaking to anybody, but, I feel like as a wife, a lot of the times I kind of squelch the leader in my husband because I want to take control over things, or I want to manipulate things to, you know, to my benefit. And I didn't want that to happen at this time. I didn't want to manipulate his love for me, because I knew he loved me. He loves me so much that he would make it right. He would make it right in the sense of, he would make it where I would keep my dogs and do something for this family. But thankfully, the Lord really moved in him and used him as a tool for this family to just really touch this family. He said it was okay that I can contact the dad and let him know that they can come and see the dogs. Now, as soon as I walked out of the office, my phone, I went to go get my phone. There was already a voicemail on it from the dad. And I'm sure the dad called me, because I never responded to the son's text message the whole entire day. So I responded and I said, hey, you know, you can come and check out the dogs. Just let me know around what time. He came that evening. And when he came that evening, he just continued to say, I can't believe you guys. I've never met people like you. You guys love on this dog, these dogs. You've taken such good care of them. You people are different. There's just, I can't explain it. He said that he was telling his boys on the way over to our house that even if they didn't walk out with the dog, that he would want to stay in contact with us. And I just, that just spoke to my heart huge, big time, because not that I'm good at all, not that we are good at all, but the fact that God was speaking to this family through us. And I told the dad, I said, listen, it's not us. I said, God has favor on your family. It is not us. It is totally God. So him and his boys had come and we're sharing this, of course, in front of his boys, young men. And they wanted to kind of talk to the mom and see. And I asked them to please just make the decision tonight, because this is already hard enough. So, it's okay. It would be best for all of us involved if they would make the decision. So they took the dogs outside to see how they would play. Oh, by this point, I don't think you know this, we had a boy and a girl. We ended up giving up one of the girls and keeping a boy and a girl. My husband's dream was always to have a huge, humongous dog. And Samson, our boy, is a huge, humongous boy. And he's going to be a huge boy. But anyway, back to the story. They took the dogs outside to see, how their personalities and how they play. While they were outside, my husband and Gabby were out there with them. I was in the office praying, please take my girl, because I wanted my husband to have his boy. And my husband's outside praying, please take my boy. Please take my boy. I want her to have her girl. I thought it was hysterical. But their pick was the girl. And I just took it like, the Lord lavishes us women. He saved the best for last. And he just wants to bless us so much. So they took my girl. Her name was Lola. My name for her was Lola. They named her Leah, kind of like Leah, to remember Leo. They took the girl, and while he was outside, my husband was outside with the guys, he was able to, the dad was still, just talking to Tito about how, we're so different and he can't believe it. So it was an opportunity for my husband to minister to them, so it was a beautiful thing, a beautiful thing. We just ask for one thing, that they stay in touch with us so that we can see her grow with her mommy, and hopefully we'll be able to meet up and get together. So that was the huge thing that had happened to me, that has happened over the last couple of weeks. And it was huge. It was a huge lesson in what we speak. Sometimes our emotions can get us to say things, and we have to be careful, because even when our emotions are on our high, a good kind of high, like you're just happy and everything is going right, you may make the mistake of committing to something just because of that feeling, or vice versa. If you're feeling, really sad and down and out, you're going to make a commitment that is just really totally based on the emotions. And I know feelings betray us. Feelings completely betray us. So it taught me to be careful what we speak out of our mouth. And it also taught me, I think, almost as big of a lesson, because I believe words are very powerful. But almost as big as a lesson for me in particular was, you don't have to respond right away, always. You can have time to process. That was the huge one for me, is that I need to stop being so quick and Speedy Gonzalez about answering or replying anything and everything, and giving myself some time to process what's going on. Then I can respond correctly, not based on feelings, but based on truth and based on truth. So that was huge for me. And of course, the lesson with that, I'm praying that it displayed for my children. I hope and pray that it build their faith. So that was a huge week, the last couple of weeks for me. We are very happy with Samson. We are very much at peace with the decision that we made. We are very thankful to God for allowing us all the time that we had with each and every one of those puppies. And I'm grateful that I'm able to stay in touch with them. I text them every so often to check on the dog. So I'm really just grateful, and just wanted to share God's faithfulness, his faithfulness. And I don't want to forget, like I said in the last post, I don't want to forget. I want to make sure I mark this down, set up my road marks, and not forget. But I know this is a little bit long one, and I hope you're hanging in there. I'm sorry, but I really wanted to share with you that. And I also experienced an amazing time at camp. Went to Lake Yale with the youth from my church, and a few other churches, a bunch of other churches came to Lake Yale to have a summer camp called Give It All Away. And I'm processing that one, so I'm keeping that for myself for now. I can't even speak, but I hope that this has encouraged you. I hope that God has spoken to you in some way through this, because he is faithful. We have to be very careful and mindful of what comes out of our mouth. And it's okay if we have some process time. We don't have to always respond so quickly. I love you, and I will speak to you and see you soon.